Alrighty, yo, what is going on, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. DDG94 here, back with another reaction video. And today, we finna react to Chicago basketball star killed before his NBA career started. Can only be the one and only, man. RP. Midwest Chicago legend. Y'all should already know. I shouldn't have to say the name. You should already know. If you from the Midwest, you should know this name.
Freaky frog! You freaky frog! You a freaky frog!
Hey, yo.
You fucking freaky frog! You a freaky frog!
Got the subscriber.
Stephen Wright subscribed to the channel.
Got the subscriber. Yeah. So anytime somebody subscribe, that's what happens. Every time somebody subscribe to the YouTube channel, that's what ends up happening. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. You a freaky frog for subscribing. You're a freaky frog if you subscribe. So if you subscribe, you get the freaky frog. If you follow on Twitch though, you a freaky ass nigga. See, you a freaky frog over here, but you a freaky ass nigga over there. See how it works? But anyway, so yeah, this video is not getting monetized. So anyway, so you should already know who it is. I ain't gotta say the name. If you know, you know. If you're not from the Midwest, you probably don't know. Or you probably do know. Some people know from the East Coast, West Coast, down south. But for the most part, Midwest legend for sure. Without further ado, let's get right into it.
What if I told you about a basketball player so talented, so unstoppable, that some believed he could rival Michael Jordan? A player whose rise to greatness seemed inevitable, whose story was poised to inspire millions, until
The only crazy part about his life, his teammate was his teammate. He has a famous teammate that went on to go do big things in his life, and until now, if you know, you know.
I'm telling me no, but my body's telling me yes.
Yeah, that was his teammate. So yeah, they went to high school together. That was his teammate. So yeah. If he was alive, I wonder what he'd be thinking about his former teammate, high school teammate.
it ended in the most tragic and senseless way imaginable. His name was Benji Wilson, and this is the story of how the brightest star in Chicago basketball was extinguished far too soon. Benji Wilson grew up in Chatham, a neighborhood on Chicago's south side, a place where violence and poverty loomed over every corner. Chatham was a neighborhood that wasn't supposed to produce success stories, but Benji was different. By the time he entered Neil F. Simeon Vocational High School, he wasn't just another talented basketball player, he was the player. At 6'8" and still growing, Benji's combination of height, skill, and athleticism was otherworldly. On the court, he was electric, graceful, dominant. Off the court, he carried himself with the quiet determination of someone who knew he was destined for greatness. As a sophomore, Benji became the only underclassman to start on Simeon's varsity basketball team. By his junior year, he had led the team to its first ever state championship, putting the entire city of Chicago on notice. Everyone, from fans in the stands to NBA scouts, could see it. Benji was special. He wasn't just the best high school player in Chicago, he was the best in the nation. For a city like Chicago, where gun violence claimed countless lives and dreams, Benji was more than a basketball player. He was a symbol of hope. The kid from Chatham who was going to break the cycle, make it out, and become a legend. College recruiters flocked to Simeon to watch him play. Coaches compared him to future NBA greats. People whispered about his potential, saying he might someday rival Michael Jordan. The path ahead seemed set in stone until it happened. November 21st, 1984, the day that changed everything. Benji was preparing for a major tournament game. Simeon was scheduled to play Evanston Township, the same team they defeated in the state championship just months before. The anticipation was high, but Benji never made it to the game. That afternoon, he decided to skip lunch at school and grab food with his girlfriend. It was supposed to be a quick walk, a brief moment of normalcy in a life consumed by basketball. But on the streets of Chatham, no moment is ever truly normal. While walking to a nearby store, Benji brushed past 3 teenagers. It was an ordinary bump on a crowded sidewalk, something most people would forget in seconds, but not this time. One of the teenagers turned and an argument began. Witnesses say Benji apologized, saying, "Excuse me," but the response he got was chilling. "There ain't gonna be no excuses." In an instant, the situation escalated. One of the boys pulled out a gun. 2 shots rang out. One hit Benji in the chest, the other in the groin. As he collapsed to the ground, the boys fled, leaving Chicago's brightest star bleeding on the pavement.
More than 600 people were murdered in Chicago last year, and police officials say the homicide rate could end up being 30% higher this year because of increased incidents of violence, such as the kind that claimed the life of 17-year-old Ben Wilson. Police have identified the suspects in his murder as members of a street gang. Those gangs are responsible for 61 murders so far this year. Among the many questions being asked today in light of Wilson's death is, where does such violence start and how can it be stopped?
Gangs come from the community in which they are committing their violence. They live in that community, and until the community gets involved with their children and sets up alternatives to the gang structure, the gang problem in their area is not going to get any better. It's going.
Oh, how's it gonna get any better? And y'all the ones that's making it harder for them. You expect us to, you know what I'm saying, like, you expect us to do better, but you're not giving us the options to make it better. We got to make something out of nothing. So some people got to resort to the violence and stuff like that. Not saying that is right, but due to survival and what we got to do to make ends meet, y'all really not giving us a lot of help. You know what I'm saying? Y'all outsource jobs. First it was a booming economy. Then y'all want to outsource jobs to China, making everybody have to go, taking away all the good jobs and shit. Now it's kind of, I mean, nowadays you got Amazon and FedEx and UPS, but it's like motherfuckers can only take so much at these goddamn jobs. You know, it used to be factories, used to be places, used to be steel mills, used to be other places like that. You know what I'm saying? You know, used to be places where you could get car manufacturers. All that shit used to be here. Now it's no longer here. What happened to all that shit? Y'all took all that away. Y'all sent it all to China. Left us with jobs that pay minimum wage or don't really take care of the bills. You know what I'm saying? You know, when you take away the jobs and you leave us with the bullshit, fuck you think we gonna do? You think we're just gonna sit there and be like, oh, we're just gonna have to learn to get? No. Y'all took away the jobs. Y'all let the jobs walk away. Y'all didn't keep the jobs here. Y'all didn't want the jobs here. Y'all take them away. Then the other resources that we have, you take them away. And then so many programs, but you got to go through hurdles and hoops just to get the benefits that you feel like you need to get by. So how can you say, well, if the community, it's not the community, it's y'all. If there was better opportunities, trust me, there wouldn't be nobody out here trying to gangbang and stuff like that. If y'all would have kept all the good jobs, all the good paying jobs, instead of letting them go to China for cheap, I think black community would be in a better place. I'm telling you, when y'all had all them steel mills and car manufacturers and other warehouses in the city that was paying good money the black community was rolling. We wasn't nobody trying to do no drugs. Wasn't nobody on no gay bacon shit. You could you could go to the you could go out and have a ball on Friday, wake up on Saturday and go straight to the mall and buy your babies and yourself some new clothes, some new tennis shoes. Nowadays it's like you gotta scrape your money together just to keep the lights on, just to keep a roof over your head. What the fuck you think? What's gonna happen, man? Y'all take away all the good jobs and with the bullshit jobs. Do you act like people supposed to have it all together? Just saying, dog. They always tell us that, well, maybe if the community get involved. No, maybe if you gave us more opportunities so that way we don't have to do shit like this, the shit that we doing, then maybe, just maybe, we could get back to a better place. Just saying.
What they put on your sandwich?
Too much goddamn mayonnaise.
Bastards.
Going to get worse.
If I have to be one voice crying in the wilderness, I'm going to be crying. I'm going to keep saying that it's wrong to hurt people and that it starts with little children being taught to hurt people.
The death of Ben Wilson has brought widespread reaction and condemnation for the violent way in which he died.
I think Ben Wilson's death is going to show Chicago, if not the nation, that there is a serious problem. And if the good that can come from this will result in some serious actions against the proliferation of handguns.
Benji was rushed to St. Bernard Hospital in Inglewood, where doctors worked desperately to save him, but the damage was too severe. The next morning, on the same day his team was set to play their tournament game, Benji Wilson passed away. He was just 17 years old. The news of Benji's death sent shockwaves through Chicago. How could this happen? How could a boy with so much promise, so much talent, be taken in such a senseless act of violence? The grief was overwhelming. At his school, a memorial service was held in the gym where Benji had dazzled so many. 10,000 people came to say goodbye. 10,000 hearts broke for the boy who was supposed to escape the cycle of violence, who was supposed to become a star.
His father represented the family as the casket was opened in the gymnasium where Ben Wilson had struggled to become the nation's premier high school basketball player. His brothers and his mother will take over the vigil shortly. Hundreds of mourners, friends, schoolmates, people who did not know him but knew only of him, waited in a line that stretched the length of the building and for a city block beyond. There were flowers sent by college basketball teams, Northwestern and Indiana, high school competitors, Hyde Park and Crane. Flowers from people as varied as a fire department engine team, number 46, the teachers union, the mayor. The mayor himself came. He spoke to Ben's father briefly, but said nothing publicly. The mayor will speak at the funeral tomorrow. Standing beside Ben's father was 16-year-old Tony Jones, almost a brother to Ben, who became close to the superstar years ago through basketball.
I'm just trying to help the family and do whatever I can right now and be a brother to the two younger brothers, Jeff and Anthony. And I feel that I can, hold on that role until they can understand what has happened.
Y'all ain't gotta show the body, though.
I don't see how anybody could understand.
That's trifling as hell. Y'all ain't gotta show the body, though. That's trifling, bruh. On TV.
Wow. Two young men would take another man's life who seems to be trying so hard to succeed in this world that we live in now.
No matter how many people filed past that casket, the line outside seemed to continue growing. Among them, a congressman, a former mayor, who refused an escort to a side entrance. This will continue until 10 o'clock tonight. The funeral services will be tomorrow at Operation Push. Phil Walters, Channel 2 News at Simeon Vocational.
But the loss was felt most deeply by those closest to him, his family, his teammates, his infant son. Yes, Benji had a child, a boy who would grow up without ever knowing the father who was supposed to rewrite history.
The mother of slain basketball star Ben Wilson spent this morning at the Reverend Jesse Jackson's house, going over funeral arrangements for her son with Operation Push's executive director, Reverend Willie Barrow. The funeral will be held Saturday at Operation Push, where thousands are expected to attend. Young Wilson, only 17, was gunned down in an attempted robbery Tuesday afternoon as he walked near Simeon High School with his girlfriend. He was a nationally sought athlete, ranked the #1 high school basketball player in the country. Arrested and charged with his murder are 15-year-old Omar Dixon and 16-year-old William Moore, who attend nearby Calumet High School. Police say Moore shot Wilson after he, Dixon, and another youth had bumped into Wilson on the sidewalk. Reverend Jackson says perhaps the attention given this shooting will spur new efforts to combat similar crimes.
This could very well be the beginning of a major and serious drive in this community to tackle killing head on. We've simply hit the breaking point. So often our young people are killed, and it's just accepted as a way of life, but it should not be accepted as a way of life.
Contact with the Wilsons' pastor, Reverend Nathaniel Jarrett, will offer the eulogy at the funeral.
We're hoping to have just a cross-section of persons present to share their concern and to share in this great loss.
A Benjamin Wilson Memorial Fund has been established at the Independence Bank on the South Side to help pay Wilson's medical bill. On Saturday, visitation for young Wilson will be here at Operation Push from 1 to 2 p.m. The funeral will follow immediately.
Benji's story didn't end with his death. His legacy was carried forward by the teammates who honored him in their next game, defeating Evanston Township in a blowout victory. It was what Benji would have wanted. Over the years, countless players from Chicago have paid tribute to him, wearing his iconic number 25 as a symbol of perseverance and potential. Players like Nick Anderson, Jawan Howard, Derrick Rose, they all carried a piece of Benji with them, ensuring that his name would never be forgotten. Even decades later, Benji's impact is felt. He became a symbol of both hope and heartbreak, a reminder of what could have been, and a call to end the senseless violence that claimed his life. His story was even immortalized in a Nike commercial, a tribute to the star who was taken too soon.
1 out of every 5 black men died before they reached the age of 25. That was Benji's number. Benji was the first in Chicago history to ever be named top high school player in the nation, right before he was gunned down. But you know what? Benji's not dead. Benji's spirit lives on in every jump shot. Remember, shoot over brothers, not at them.
Benji Wilson was more than a basketball player. He was a son, a friend, a father, a symbol of possibility in a world that so often feels hopeless. His story is a reminder of the fragility of dreams, of how quickly a life can be stolen by senseless violence. And though his time on this earth was tragically short, his legacy endures in the players who honor his name, in the city that still mourns him, and in the hearts of those who remember what he represented: hope. Benji Wilson should have been a household name. Instead, he became a cautionary tale, a boy with the world at his feet, gone in an instant. And as we reflect on his story, we're left to ask ourselves, how many more Benjis will it take before things change? How many more dreams will we lose to the violence that steals them away?
The brothers of Chicago high school basketball star Ben Wilson forgave the man that killed him more than 30 years ago. This is a picture of Wilson, and at the time of his death in 1984, he was being recruited by some of the nation's top programs, including DePaul, Indiana, and Illinois. Anthony and Jeffrey Wilson say in 2000 their mother asked them on her deathbed to forgive the shooter, William Moore. The men first met him in 2017 and then appeared publicly together for the first time this week in front of around 350 Chicago public school students, where they shared their story. Ben Wilson, also known as Benji, was a 6'8", 17-year-old forward from Simeon High School when he bumped into 16-year-old William Moore. Moore later told the brothers an argument followed and he pulled a gun and shot Benji. He said at this week's event he did not have the emotional tools to end that argument peacefully and lives with Wilson's death every day. Moore also shared that his own son was shot to death 3 years ago. This week's event, previewing the documentary Both Sides of the Gun, was moderated by rapper and actor Common and former U.S. Education Secretary Arnie Duncan, who was a childhood friend of Ben Wilson.
This is the story of Benji Wilson, a star who burned brighter than most but was gone far too soon. Alright, y'all, that's been the story of Benji Wilson. Chicago legend, man, gone too soon. Took him out before he had a chance to make it to the NBA. I wonder what would have happened if he would have made it. You know what I'm saying? Like him versus Jordan. Like how would that have worked? But I don't know, man. Hey, get in the comment section, man. Let me know what y'all think. You already know what it is, man. Drillers and trappers. We out here trapping and drilling 247. Don't go nowhere. Watch that next video. Gang!
Alrighty, that's just gonna about do it for this one. RIP to the brother. RIP, most definitely.
Bum, 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 bum.
Most definitely, Midwest legend, man. If you're from the Midwest, then you know. If you from Chicago, you should. Shit, that's your history, boy. You should already know who that is. If you from the Midwest, you done heard them stories. For real though. But anyway, so that's just gonna about do it for this one, man. I will see you all in the next video. Till then, peace out.